What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers made some big moves at the trade deadline, and we really got like an entire roster rehaul. We got 5 new players at the deadline. It's not even counting Rui Hachimura that we got a couple weeks earlier. And the Lakers finally have what feels like a more complete, well-balanced, youthful, athletic, sizable type of roster, which is crazy. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we never would have said that. And it feels like we got these pieces that are really going to help us not only now, but as we move forward to the future, which I think is just absolutely massive. And we really need, right? We really need some cohesiveness, some stability amongst the roster. We've had so much roster turnover after roster turnover the last several seasons. And so now to know, okay, we got a roster for now that we can really kind of make a push with and hopefully get into the playoffs. And then once we're in the playoffs, who knows? But even then, even if it doesn't happen, right? Or, say we do make the playoffs, but we end up losing in a tough series or something. What this does is it gives us a full year to develop an entire offseason, training camp, preseason, and now a new season that we can all be very excited and positive for. And that in and of itself is exciting. And this is just some great future moves. Now, yesterday I made a video diving into D'Angelo Russell and kind of my excitement and my thoughts on him. I highly recommend you check out that video after this one. But today I want to talk about Jarred Vanderbilt. Now, Jarred Vanderbilt, to me, he may very well be the X factor. This is a guy, 6'8", 6'9" size, that just is a defensive monster. I mean, seriously, go watch his highlights with Minnesota and his highlights with Utah. And this dude is everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, this guy is an absolute monster. And with him paired with Anthony Davis, I think that they're going to just wreak havoc. You got two guys that can make up so much ground, that can cover each side of the court, can cover the entire scope, switch on all 5 players, and really just make a defensive impact. Jarred Vanderbilt's also extremely young at 23 years old, so he's young enough to where we could have drafted him this year. And now we have a piece that we can grow and develop that is a sizable 3-and-D style forward. Now, he's not like some elite three-point shooter right now. He's a guy that can come in. He shoots about, 1 3 a game on average. A lot of games he doesn't even do that. He doesn't even shoot threes. But he is a guy that is shooting about 33% from 3 when he does shoot. So, he's a guy that can knock down the 3 if opened at time, at least enough to where you have to contest it. But again, it's not even just about that, right? He's a young, talented, youthful piece. He's great at offensive rebounds. He averages just under 3 offensive rebounds a game. He's a great rebounder. He's a guy that can go get you buckets. He's more of a setup guy. You got to set him up and roll him out. But we have guys like D'Lo. We have guys that which he has chemistry with, right? But you have D'Lo. You have LeBron. Even playing next to AD, he's going to get some easy looks. One of the big things we need is size and rebounding. Well, Jarred Vanderbilt really offers that. I mean, Jarred Vanderbilt and Winning Gabriel are going to be a lot of fun. And you could play both of them together if you wanted to. You'd have to add some more fluid shooters, but just 2 guys that absolutely hustle, that can, just make up a lot of ground. Jarred Vanderbilt's a guy that's really, I really believe he's going to be the impact guy. Now, he might be the guy that people don't really notice because he's not going to be this big highlight, sexy type player, right? He's a guy that's going to do the dirty work. Like, I think D'Lo is going to be the biggest standout. I think Beasley is going to be very noticeable just because of his 3-point shooting, right? So people are going to see, oh, wow, Beasley knocked down 4 threes last night, and some of the other guys. I think that that's what it's going to be. But I wouldn't be surprised if outside of D'Lo, because I think D'Lo is the best player we've gotten out of everybody, and I think he's the guy that's going to just take so much pressure off of everybody. I think D'Lo will be the biggest player we got in this trade, but Jarred Vanderbilt might be right behind that. Like, when we really look at this season that he has coming up with the Lakers, I wouldn't be surprised at all if you look back and you go, man, like Jarred Vanderbilt really turned this defense and this team around. Like between Jarred Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis, I wouldn't be shocked if we're like a top 10 defense with the guys we got. And a lot of that, I guarantee you, is going to be because of Jarred Vanderbilt. The ground that he covers, the defense that he can do. He's a guy that can guard the Kevin Durant's, the Paul Georges, the Kawhi Leonard's, but just be a guy that can just patrol and be that help defender. He's the guy that I hope they close with. Now, my guess is it's probably going to be something like the starting lineup will probably be like D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. That's probably my guess. I think the closing lineup should be the exact same thing. Just swap Rui with Jarred Vanderbilt. Because you have Austin Reeves and you'd have D'Angelo Russell. You got two guys that can shoot, play make, basically do a lot of things. You got your versatility guys. You got LeBron James, you got Anthony Davis, and then you got Jarred Vanderbilt that's just swarming and playing that defense and being a lob threat, and it's respectable enough to where you have to go respect his three. I think that would be the best case scenario. But again, Jarred Vanderbilt is so young. He's a guy that the Lakers are really going to be able to develop. He's a guy that they're really going to be able to kind of mold and shape into a legit type of 3-and-D guy. He's a guy that has all the potential in the world. Again, he's 23. Like, if we just drafted this guy, people would be talking about how we have a star in the making. And so I really think that he's the guy that he is a bit of a project on the offensive end. There's no doubt about that, right? He's a guy that we're going to have to be patient with on the offensive end. He's a guy that's probably not going to give you, 20 a night. But he's averaging 10 or 8, 8 a game. And now he's going to play next to D'Lo, LeBron, AD. Can he get to 10? I don't think that's unrealistic. Can he be a 10 and 8 guy? Like if he is, that's beautiful. In like 20, 25 minutes of play a game, if he can be a 10 and 8 guy, that's all we need. And then if he can develop into a shooter, then great. That would be perfect, right? Kind of mold him and shape him into the guy we need. But we also don't really need him to be this elite scorer or this elite. It would be nice if he could shoot better, right? Like on a higher volume. Like if he shot like, say 4 or 5 threes a game and shot 40% or 35% or something like that, then yeah, of course that'd be a little better. We'd be, but in the same breath, he probably wouldn't be available if that was the case, right? Like nobody's trading a guy that's shooting 40% and might be one of the best defenders in the league. Like that's a big thing. And let me clarify, I didn't say he's the best. I just said he's maybe one of, but he is. He's a guy that just covers so much ground. He's outside of AD, he's going to be our best defender. He really is. He's a guy that's just, I'm telling you, he's not going to stand out and jump out on the page because, he's a guy that many people, they don't really pay attention so much to defense as they do, the big highlights, the scoring, the shooting, all of those things, right? So Jarred Vanderbilt's kind of going to be an afterthought. But, he's almost 4 points better than league average defensively. The guy is I'm telling you, defensively, he is a juggernaut. Right? Like, it's just remarkable what you're going to see with this guy. And I really keep stressing it, and I really keep trying to highlight it, because I want people to pay attention. I want people to really notice the defensive impact and the defensive prowess that he's going to have on this team. Because again, it's going to get underlooked, right? People aren't going to notice it the way that they should, because again, it's not the sexy thing. Defense wins championships. But think of how good our defense is when Anthony Davis is on the court as opposed to without. Now imagine having two guys with that similar defensive rating, right? Imagine having two Anthony Davis level players this season. That's essentially what the Lakers could have. Like, seriously, I mean, Anthony Davis could arguably be Defensive Player of the Year. And now you're adding a guy in Jarred Vanderbilt who, could end up being top 5 to 7 in like that type of category. And he's 23 years old. He's only going to get better. And I'm excited for him for the future. I mean, just between him, Max Christie, right? Like, those two guys just defensively are going to be great. Rui can be a solid defender. He just doesn't have the foot speed. Well, now we got Jarred Vanderbilt, who does have the foot speed. He does have the athleticism. He does have all the things you want to do that. I mean, he's our Dennis Rodman, essentially. Great defender, great rebounder, great offensive rebounder. I'm telling you, he's going to have a huge impact on this Laker team. One of the biggest things that the Lakers are struggling with is perimeter defense and rebounding. And Jarred Vanderbilt by himself solves both of those things. So that's huge. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think about Jarred Vanderbilt? Again, sorry, I really want to hit home. I really want people to watch Jarred Vanderbilt this year. I really want, because again, D'Angelo Russell is going to be the big standout. Malik Beasley's probably going to get a lot of attention just because of his shooting. But I really think Jarred Vanderbilt's going to be the X factor. I'm telling you. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below.